Thank you, Raya. And thank you, Mordechai, both of you, for hosting and broadcasting the shir. Ruchim Abayim, welcome everybody to the shir, to the Kabbalah Café. Kol Yom Shishi, every Friday, Bezrat Hashem at 10 o'clock, right here at the Bagel Cafe. We thank the owner, Tomer, of Bagel Cafe to opening up his restaurant to be a home for us. Toda Rabah. There's a story from the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Tanya. At one time, there was a great chassid that came to him and asked him for a bracha, and the Alter Rebbe gave him a bracha for long life, arichut yamim. So he responded with something that I think most people would not respond. He said, "Aber nicht" in Yiddish. It sounds best in Yiddish. "Aber nicht poyerische Jahren." Basically, loosely translated, thank you for the bracha for long life, but I want good, healthy years, not years like that's not that's just however you want to word it. What? So most people would say thank you, kol hakavod, but this chassid was very particular, and he said he put a condition or a side note on the bracha. What's the message? What's the message is that we have to have quality life. אנחנו מדברים על חיים באריכות ימים, בעזרת השם, שיהיה תוכן, לא רק את השעות והדקות והימים והשנים, אלא שיהיו שנים וימים של בריאות ושמחה ונחת, and it should be quality years. באמת, לפני הרבה שנים, היו אנשים בסטטיסטיקות, אז התוחלת החיים היה 30 שנה, 40 שנה, גם באנגליה בימי הביניים. אז היה בערך בתקופה, במספרים האלו, לא צריך לחזור כל כך אחורה, אבל היום, ברוך השם, הממוצע של החיים זה כבר מתקרב ל-70, וזה עולה ועולה. The average age of how long people live, if you look at the statistics to the mid-ages, in England, you look at Greece, a couple thousand years ago, it was approximately 30, 40, give or take. But Baruch, you don't have to go so far back, just a number of decades back, it was also less. But now, Baruch Hashem, it's getting closer to 70, 80, and it's growing. Whether you want to say that it's thanks to the antibiotics and things like that, but nevertheless, the fact is we see that the average age is becoming, Baruch Hashem, larger and larger. And a lot of people in general try to wish for something, to wish for longer life. אנשים רוצים בטבע, רוצים לחיות יותר. People want to live much longer. The question is, or maybe the problem, I don't want to make it a problem, but העניין הוא שאיך חיים, האם אנשים גם משקיעים בזה? גם משקיעים בזה. Do people also invest effort into the quality of life? Not just the numbers, the age, another year, another day. It's wonderful, it's great, it's a big bracha to live more, to live longer. But the question is it also so important to us that we want to have a greater quality of life, that the years that we have should be more qualitative. That's what we're going to try to figure out today. So there's a very interesting discussion, Yesh, in the Talmud. What is the most important pasuk in the Torah? Ma ha pasuk hachi chashuv. Ma item omrim. If I asked you what was the most important pasuk in the Torah, what would you say? Aseret HaDibrot. Some people would argue that maybe the greatest pasuk in the Torah is V'ahavta l'reach hakamocha. Love your fellow Jew as yourself. Others will argue, Ma pasuk hachi chashuv b'Torah? Ulai Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad? עכשיו זה לא רק שזה הפסוק הכי חשוב, אלא שזה פסוק כוללת. We're looking for a pasuk which is all-inclusive. For example, when the converts came to Hillel HaZaken and said, teach me the whole Torah like I'm standing on one foot. It says, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, ma da'alach san. Whatever you hate, don't do to your friends. But derech klal, I don't know. Wait, what is it? When you have the Kabbalah Café, the most important part is the Kabbalah. The Café is on the side. Whether cold or hot, personal or general. But just like they gave us today a general cup for everyone, same thing, a pasuk can be a general pasuk. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. זה לא רק פסוק חשוב, מסר חשוב, אלא זה הוראה כוללת. It's an all-inclusive lesson. If you have the Shema Yisrael, that we realize that Hashem Echad, Hashem is one, then everything, Bezrat Hashem, everything we do goes in that direction. You have to l'recha kamocha. If we love your fellow Jew like yourself, the Hillel said, Idach Pirushu, the rest of the Torah is just an interpretation of that pasuk. You'll never believe what one of the opinions is. Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, in this parsha, Et hakeves hacha ta'aseh b'boker, ve'et hakeves hasheni ta'aseh ben arba'im. Korban tamid b'boker, korban tamid ben arba'im. We have a mitzvah of bringing the regular tamid, the first korban in the Beit HaMikdash, was in the morning, and then the last one was also a tamid. Tamid means always, constant, tamid. And like, why is that such an important pasuk? Zibamet pasuk hazeh kolel, alav ze pashut, bet ze lo kolel. It's a stam mitzvah nekudatit. It seems to be a regular mitzvah. And what's the halacha? Halacha keben pasuk. That's the halacha. That's the most important pasuk in the Torah. Et hakeves hacha ta'aseh b'boker, bring the korban tamid in the morning. Et hakeves hasheni ta'aseh ben arba'im, and the second lamb tamid you bring in the afternoon. Why? If you tell me that Shema Yisrael is the most important pasuk, I'll understand. If you want to tell me that V'ahavta l'recha kamocha is all inclusive of the entire Torah, a little bit hard to explain. I mean, what does that have to do with what does V'ahavta l'recha kamocha have to do with I don't know, Pesach? But maybe you could explain to me that there's an interesting phrase in the Hayom Yom this week. It says Hayom Yom, every day there's a little phrase. It says V'ahavta l'recha kamocha hu chelek mitzvat v'ahavat Hashem. Part of the mitzvah of loving Hashem is loving your fellow Jew like yourself. What's the bottom line? If you love your fellow Jew, then you can look to Hashem. But if you have a problem with V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, then Ahavat Hashem is also kacha. But at the hakeves hacha ta'aseh b'boker, do the Korban Tamid Baboker, Korban Tamid Berev. Lama ze kol kach chashuv? Lama ze mitzvah b'parasha shalanu, our parasha, right before it talks about all of the special korbanot of the Chagim, it says the special mitzvah of Korban Tamid. The answer is like this. Every person has something, at least one thing in their life that made a very strong impression on them. Whether it could be positive or chas v'shalom, whether it was something like something powerful that you saw, it changed your life. Or you went, for example, to the resting place of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in Miron, and you heard someone playing with a violin, a beautiful slow song, and it really touched you deep down to your core. Everybody has that one thing or a couple of things that you can look back and say, wow, whether it was a specific shiur or something that made a big impression. But most people don't tend to pay attention to the little things, to the daily things. That's like boring. Whatever is daily is boring. That's how people look at it. Sometimes people look at it in a very cheap way. Sometimes even people will look down at regular things. Well, only something cool, something out of the norm. So that the truth is that we have to learn how to turn these regular, quote unquote, boring things into special things. That when we have something which is earth shattering, life changing, it happens once in a lifetime, 5 times in a lifetime, once a year, whatever it is, that's bemet, that's something special. But when you have regular things, toda rabah, regular things, quote unquote, which can really make a difference, it's the regular things that happen in our lives. When you wake up in the morning and you say, Moda ani lefanecha, you thank Hashem, it's not just another day. It's, wow, Moda ani lefanecha, thank you Hashem. 1 second, but I said it yesterday. And Bezrat Hashem, I'm going to say it tomorrow. But today is a unique one. When people ask me, what's my first son's name? I tell them Menachem Mendel. So someone goes, oh, of course, you're a Chabadnik, so you call him Menachem Mendel. I say, no, every Menachem Mendel is original. Every Menachem Mendel is original. You could say, what do you mean? It's the Darabah. Oh, nice and cold. The same color. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. When you welcome home a child from school and you give them a big hug, or you go to a regular event, here, each thing needs to be special. אפשר להסתכל לחיים שיש דברים מיוחדים בחיים. כל אחד יכול להיזכר משהו עוצמתי ששינה לו את החיים, שעשה משהו יוצא מן הכלל. בעזרת השם משהו חיובי, אבל לפעמים גם משהו שלילי, שזעזע אותו. השם ירחם, או שבאיזה מלחמה ראה משהו עוצמתי, אבל דברים רגילים של כל יום, רוב האנשים לא נותנים לנו שזה משעמם, אולי קצת מזלזלים בזה, אבל מה שאנחנו לומדים מהפסוק הזה, אותו קורבן תמיד בבוקר, אותו כבש השני בין הארבעים, תמיד שבין הארבעים, אולי זה משעמם. אומר לנו רבי שמעון בן פזי, לא, אסור שזה יהיה משעמם. דווקא הדברים הרגילים, הם אלו שיכולים לעשות את השינוי הכי גדול בחיים. בנוסף על הדברים הגדולים, חופשה חלומית, כל הנ"ל זה יפה. אבל אם אנחנו יודעים להפיח חיים וחיות בדברים הרגילים, זה החוכמה. זה האתגר. So let's look back at that pasuk that we talked about, not Shema Yisrael, not Anochi Hashem Elokecha, and with all due respect to all these huge, big mitzvot, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, none of the above are considered, according to this interesting Talmud, the most important pasuk. The one in our parsha, the sheep korban tamid in the morning and the sheep in the afternoon. Why? Because it's the little things, the quote unquote minor things that aren't so important, that most people view them to be, look. By the way, dafka, those things are considered to be this. If we're able to bring life and to bring a new insight and a new ruach, a new spirit into the regular day-to-day things, that's what's going to make the real impact. I'll give another example. Yom Kippur. On an annual level, Ma Yom Achi Kadosh B'Shana. Yom Kippur. Ba'im Bet Knesset. One of the problems, not with Yom Kippur itself, but when we look at the whole year, one of the problems of Yom Kippur is that you go right down into the next day is a regular day. So how does that impact you? It's wonderful to have a great day, but we have to find the bridge. Sometimes we look at Sukkot as being the bridge. Sometimes we look at Shabbat Bereshit as being the bridge. אבל האתגר הוא לדעת איך לוקחים יום כיפור, יום הכי קדוש, ועושים את הגשר, מגשרים אותו, מחברים אותו לשאר השנה, לשאר ימות השנה. And that's the tamid, those things which are considered regular should be very powerful. קורבן תמיד, זה המסר של קורבן התמיד של הפרשה שלנו. שאפילו דברים התמידיים הרגילים, גם הם יהיו מיוחדים, לא רק משעממים. ואסור לזלזל בדברים רגילים. It's a good question. Sometimes we talk about Sukkot, that this is Sukkot, it's the Simcha, which brings from the seriousness of Yom Kippur. The Simcha has the ability to bring even the greatest levels into the day-to-day life. Sometimes we say Shabbat Bereshit, the Shabbat, the last Shabbat of the month of Tishrei. Sometimes we say Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. Cheshvan is the classical, regular. There's no chagim in Cheshvan. So we have to try to find ways how to mellow, so to speak, in a positive way to connect the holiest day to the rest of the year. Ken, good deal.
On Yom Kippur, the Korban, was there already Korban?
That's a great question. Even Shabbat, even Pesach, Yom Kippur, first you do the regular Korban.
That's right.
And then you have the Musaf. That's the Tefillah Musaf. Our Tefillah corresponds to the Korbanot. So Musaf means an additional, like Yosef.
Right.
Lahosif. Ze B'nosaf ala tamid. So that's a great point. What you're basically saying is that it's not just like on the special days you have a special korban and then forget about the tamid. Right. We'll leave the tamid for the boring days, for Chodesh Cheshvan, where there's no chagim. It's a great point. Even when you have a special day, like in today's Chumash, we learn about Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and other Chagim. Even then, we also have the Tamid. What's the message? The message is that we merge the Musaf with the Tamid. We connect them both. And then tomorrow, even if it's not going to be tomorrow's Shabbos, but even another, I mean in general, even the next day, it's a regular Tuesday, as they say, that should also be held. Gam כשמקריבים את התמיד ביום רגיל, גם זה יהיה חשוב. גם זה יהיה מיוחד. אותו דבר כשמדובר בזוגיות. יש בין בעל ואישה, יש גם בין הורים לילדים, יש זמנים מיוחדים. When you have with a spouses, a special day, a birthday, an anniversary, but then you have the quote unquote regular days. It's מאוד יפה, סתם, ביום רגיל, להביא משהו מתנה קטנה, לעשות משהו מיוחד. Of course, when there's a special day, you want to celebrate in a special way. But sometimes, as an idea, you might want to just, out of the blue, a regular Tuesday, just to do something special for your kid. Something special for your spouse. Something out of the norm. Why? No reason. Doesn't have to be a reason. Doesn't have to be a reason for doing something special. When you do that musaf, that musaf that we talked about, on a regular day, that makes all the other regular days not boring anymore. Wow. All of a sudden, you have the opportunity to bring a special ruach into a regular day. So therefore, the regular days become special. In English, you say just a regular Tuesday. In Yiddish, they say stam mitvach, just a regular Wednesday. Whatever language they're saying, the point is hopefully clear.
Which Rebbe made the argument for the daily?
Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi in the Talmud. Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi.
And
Sure. He said, I repeated it before. I talked about the Musaf. They said a very amazing point. He asked, what's the name of the rabbi that said that it's this pasuk which is special? His name was Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi. Ben Pazi, correct. This concept is important in every topic, in every situation. People that are usually successful in business are usually people that have a very high level of work ethics. And they're always working, they're always trying to working overtime to reach their goal, step after step. And even people that have a special umanut, have a special talent in something. So he needs to have a special effort. For example, Chief Rabbi Sachs of blessed memory, he talked about one of the greatest. You're going to have to help me out with it because I'm not familiar with this. But one of the greatest composers of all times, Beethoven. Thank you. He said, you would never believe what his schedule was. Rabbi Sachs said he will wake up every morning early. He prepared himself a café hafuch. Wow. He would sit down at his table for several hours. He would compose the songs, and only at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, after a day of work, then he would get up and go for a walk. And in other words, you have the regular part of the day. He woke up, did what he had to do. He did a special thing, and then he continues regular things. He wasn't like a Martian from somewhere in outer space. It's the balance of being able to do special things and also the regular things. גם האנשים האומנים הכי גדולים, הם ידעו, תודה רבה תומר, הם ידעו איך לאזן בין דברים מיוחדים שעשו בחיים לבין הדברים הרגילים. שאלו פעם שחקן כדורגל שהיו לו הרבה פרסים ומדליות. איך הוא הצליח להבקיע גולים מרשימים? הוא אמר, פשוט היה לי מזל. אחרי זה הוא הוסיף, מעניין לציין שככל שהתאמנתי יותר, היה לי יותר מזל. They once asked a big, ככל שהתאמנתי, היה לי יותר מזל. ככל שהתאמנתי יותר. They once asked a big soccer player, a football player, how did you succeed to get all these medals and awards? He said, I just had good luck. But then he added a small footnote. The more I practiced, the more good luck I had. So once again, you have the balance of hishtadlut, effort, doing our best. Mitzad sheni, on the other hand, the mazal, the blessing from above. So you have someone who's very talented, has a great bracha, but he also needs to have the practice and the exercise. There was once a young boy who didn't have so much success in his learning. He left yeshiva and he left yeshiva in Israel, and he went to be a security guard in one of the states in the United States. After a while, he went into Yechidus to the Rebbe to have private audience, and he poured out his heart. He said, Rebbe, I don't have any drive to learn, and when I work as a security guard, I'm not making too much money. I want to change my work, my job, and I want to build a family. You ever heard what he said? And he said as follows: right now, it's a little too early for you to get married. I have a suggestion for you, that for now, keep your regular current job. And regarding learning, take upon yourself every day to learn 5 minutes the parsha, but only 5 minutes. Only no more than 5 minutes. If you want to add, you can only add 10%. Learn also Torah Shebal Peh, not only the Chumash, but also other parts of the Torah. But that also only 5 minutes. It's a short amount of time, but if you take upon yourself the resolution with all your heart, and you keep on doing it, you're not going to stop, then you'll see that it will become part of you. And then you'll be able to add afterwards. This boy, this young man, he said, I learned 5 minutes, but I wanted to learn 10. The Rebbe told me only to add only 10%. So I learned only 5.5 minutes. After a while, I asked the Rebbe, can I please learn more? He said, okay, no problem. Now, this young man, he doesn't waste a minute from learning Torah. But it was when he was young, his impression was, oy vey, I have to learn Torah a whole day. He lost his whole taste. But once he started with a small amount and he built it up, that was healthy. That was sturdy. That was. We should never underestimate even a little effort. Who are we to say what's called a little effort? Something which is small, it's not really small, so it could be really huge. אותו דבר, אנחנו... כן, טוב שאת מזכירה לי. שהיה אחד שהוא לא היה לו רצון ללמוד. אז הרב אמר לו, תלמד כל יום רק 5 דקות, ולא יותר. הוא אמר, אני רוצה ללמוד יותר? הוא אמר, לא. הרב אמר, אתה יכול להוסיף רק 10%. היה במשך תקופה, שהוא למד כל יום הלימוד הזה. אחרי זה הוא ביקש אישור מהרבי, הרבי אמר, כן, בבקשה, עכשיו אתה יכול להוסיף עוד 5 דקות. וכל פעם הוא הוסיף עוד. היום ברוך השם הוא לומד המון. אפשר למצוא אותו בלי ספר. אבל הוא לא רצה בתחילה, כי הוא לא ידע איך לגשת לזה.
Because it's a behavioral thing. In other words, because Judaism is a behavioral kind of environment, right? In other words, if you don't have spiritual, if you initiate the behavior, the faith and the belief will come later. It's an idea, I think.
Yes,
I don't know.
Okay. This idea is also in Kabbalah. We call it Kabbalah Café. אותו דבר אנחנו רואים בקבלה. יש כל מיני סוגים של מידות. חכמה, בינה, חסד, גבורה, תפארת. אבל יש את הכתר שמעל, שהוא בדיוק, חכמה, בינה, יודעת, הכתר הוא זה שמחבר את כולם ביחד. We have the different midot according to the Kabbalah. We have the chachma, the wisdom, bina, understanding, da'at, knowledge, chesed, gevura, tiferet, kindness, all the different levels. But then you have on top the keter, like a person has a head, feelings, body. But when you have the keter, the hat, the crown, that's above the head, then that's something which is all inclusive of everything. You want to have something that brings everything together. You want to have something which beautifies all of the different colors and focuses. That's the keter. Same thing. Some people are special in this field. Some people are special in another field. But then you have that which brings us all together. אבל תמיד צריך למצוא את מה שמאחד את כולנו. Have to find the bottom line which brings everything together. And when you have the crown on top, that brings out the true beauty of the entire being. We just have a crown on the table. It's nice, but it doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. But the crown on top of all of the colorful, all of the different unique aspects, that's something which becomes truly beautiful. ולכן התורה ומצוותיה נועדו לחבר את האדם עם הקדוש ברוך הוא. ולכן הפסוק הזה של קורבן תמיד, שגם הדברים הרגילים צריכים להיות עם חיות מיוחדת, עם רוח מיוחד, זה מה שמחבר אותנו להשם, שגם הדברים היבשים גם הם יהיו מיוחדים. Therefore, when Rabbeinu HaKadosh, when he heard what Ben Pazi said, that this is the most important pasuk, then he was excited. He said, that's really the halacha. That Shema Yisrael is amazing. V'ahavta l'orecha kamocha is amazing. The Ten Commandments, Aseret HaDibrot are madhim. אבל זה לא מגיע לגדלות של את הכבש אחד תעשה בבוקר, ואת הכבש השני תעשה בין 40. ועכשיו אנחנו נסיים עם הנושא של אריכות ימים. We started to say that every person wants to live long. And Baruch Hashem, the average life today is becoming more and more years, Baruch Hashem. But together with the technical amount of years, we also want to have quality of life. ביחד עם השנים והימים, באריכות ימים בעזרת השם, אנחנו גם רוצים שהחיים יהיו מלאים תוכן. So when we realize that even a regular korban, tamid, a regular scenario, regular day, can also be special, then that brings a lot of life into our days. It's not just days that we waste away, chas v'shalom, playing different games, or just taking a suntan, or sitting on our cell phones. But every minute becomes special, meaningful. We learn Torah. And on the contrary, we can use our cell phones and social media for spreading out shiurim. Very soon, Mordechai and Raya are going to send me the shiur either today or right after Shabbos. And if you want to have the recording, I'll send it to you, bli neder. And we can have it also on our it's going to be soon on our YouTube channel, because that's all we have to use the social media and technology for. Excuse me, please. So if we have
website.
it's on the website, we have a connection to our YouTube channel. And so instead of us viewing each day, each minute, every year as a waste of time, just to buy time, just to that the calendar months from 1 month to the next month, it's much better for us to focus more on how we can spend every minute in a quality way. And that's exactly what we can do today more than any other time in our history. Right? We should be able to utilize the read shiurim and to learn more, because that's the mitzvah of learning Torah. Any spare moment, we have to learn, we have to use it for learning Torah. Kol rega panui tzarich liot merukaz al tochen limud haTorah ve'kedusha. ואסור לנו להסתכל על יום רגיל זה עוד יום, ביג דיל, זה סתם, לא, חס ושלום. כל יום הוא יום מיוחד מאוד. ולכן, כשרבי עקיבא שאל את רבי נחוניה, במה הארכת ימים, אמר רבי נחוניה, לא עמדתי על מידותיי ותרן בממוני הייתי. שזה הנושא של דברים רגילים. When Rabbi Akiva asked Rabbi Nechunya, how did you have the zechut to live long? He said, I always was vatran. I always gave up. I always put someone else before me. My midot, I didn't stand steadfast in my own midot. I always tried to give up for someone else. Also in money, I use my money in a very honest way. So what do you see? What was the special thing of how he had long life? In the simple things, in the regular things, he was extra careful. As מה שאנחנו לומדים, שבעזרת השם, מתוך הנושא של את הכבש אחד תעשה בבוקר, ואת הכבש השני תעשה בין הערביים, שגם הקורבן תמיד יהיה, גם הדברים הרגילים יהיו מלאים תוכן. We learned from this, that we learned in there was a not long ago there was a special chassid in Antwerp. His name was Rabbi Nachum Yakubovich, and he was a great example of every minute being used properly. And this is what we have to learn from these special tzaddikim, that even the korban tamid, even the regular things, should be done in a special way. Yiratzon bezrat Hashem shenizkeh לביאת משיח צדקנו, והשלושת השבועות, עכשיו שמתקרבים, יהיו שלושת שבועות של בניין בית המקדש. May we merit that the 3 weeks of mourning should become 3 weeks of celebration, Bezrat Hashem, of the rebuilding of the third Beit HaMikdash. Amen. תודה רבה, יישר כוח. מי שרוצה שיחת השבוע, if anybody wants